How you doing, guys? This is Nick Stone. This is Stone TV. Thanks for watching. I'm on my way to the dungeon right now. Taking a little drive to the woods. So the plan for today is we're gonna interview the High Chief Ron Klemba, and then we're gonna work out, and then it's gonna be a good time. Anything that else that happens, I'm not sure. The only thing I know is we're gonna do a little talking, not too much, because we gotta lift. And then after that, after we talk, we're gonna lift. But hey, I hope you guys enjoy.
That's how we start our training, right?
Yep.
Welcome.
That's good.
Hold the floor. Probably sitting up there. I see it right over there. What's he getting up here? Oh, right there.
Oh man.
Oh, why is he coming up and not down? Settle down there. Stay out of here. Wow. Do like Neil and the boys and standing there going, "Are we live? Are we live?
People like that, you know.
Hello? You guys hear us out there? We live?" I don't know.
Yep.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, we could.
We live?
I think we're live. We're recording.
Oh.
But how you doing? Thanks for watching, guys. This is Ron, the High Chief Klemba. He's a legend in arm wrestling. He's been how long have you been pulling for?
You know, it's really not as long as everyone thinks because I started in my 40s.
Yep.
And so I've been pulling since 2000. 1999, I went to a tournament and as an amateur and, you know, caught a little bit of the bug because I had to kind of change sports up and I was looking for something competitive to do. So in 1999, I went to a sports bar out in Cromwell, Connecticut, and I took home a trophy, a pair of those big old arms, and third place, but got all, you know, excited and came back the next year and won the amateurs, got a first place thing, which puts you, in Connecticut, that puts you into the open classes. Now I couldn't wrestle amateurs anymore, and I ended up going to my next tournament and getting my ass whooped, you know.
Oh yeah.
And really, I didn't like that. You know, I figured if I'm going to keep doing this, I better start training. And found a group of guys out in Bristol, Connecticut, and started training hard. I trained hard until I got a series of wins. You know, I started really taking charge of the 176 class in the Northeast, and that's when my phone started ringing and people started saying, "What's going on? How you doing this? And what are you doing for training?" So instead of me having to go places to train, people started coming over to my house to train, and that was probably 18 years ago. And I've been hosting arm wrestling practice on various days, Saturdays, Sundays, sometimes a weeknight, since then, 18 years ago.
Yep.
Quite a journey in that regard.
Yeah. So I've been coming here Saturdays for at least a year and a half. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been going good.
Yeah, Nick come out of, you know, a different sport basically than us, and powered his way into getting some recognition as an arm wrestler from coming in with a sort of a gift, a beginning gift with that kind of power. So now he's just got to start adding things to it because it's already better than many guys, right up to world-class guys as far as strength. He was still a beginner, though.
Yep.
So he could be exploited by guys, you know, even me, little guys, you know. It was like, how the hell is that happening? Which is, I think why Nick's been coming back, because like the 40 other guys who come here on the weeks, different weeks, they just know that if you want to be the best or try your best, you should learn from some of the best. And, you know, we have world champions and national champions, and guys have been, you know, Tim Bresnan comes here every weekend. He's one of my best friends, so we really hit it hard and push each other to be the best we can be. Kind of the fun of the dungeon and the whole crew thing. But it's interesting to cross over with Team Stone and the strength they bring in, because I love taking people from point A to point B. You know, some people are threatened by like if I get a real strong guy my size here, people say, why are you teaching them everything you know? You know, but to me, it keeps me better. It keeps me saying, well, I'm not gonna not show him. I'm gonna show him everything, but I'm gonna stay ahead.
Yep.
You know, unless I'm dealing with a freak, you know, I'm gonna stay ahead.
Yep.
You know, and I trained a lot of guys from the beginning. Even RBJ. He's just a monster now. But you know, he took his lumps to get there. He trained hard, and he's still a blast to train with, because he'll train to failure.
Yep.
You know, he'll train to fatigue. He'll beat everybody, and then when he starts, you know, fatiguing, you know, he don't even care if the girls start whooping him, man. He'll keep pulling, you know. So
Yep.
I love that about the kid, you know. But it's just a good thing, a good fun thing. And we've got a pretty fun facility. We got a bunch of tables, and every Saturday, these guys can bang out on the tables.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good time.
We might bounce around some exercise ideas specific to the sport, which is something, you know, Nick's been thinking about sharing on his channel. So we might, you know, take a journey around the room and visit some of the maybe hand and wrist and
do a little tour,
side pressure and back pressure exercises. Those are kind of odd terms for, you know, even powerlifting, right?
Yep. Yeah, you never heard it until started messing around with arm wrestling.
Yeah. It's very important. Back pressure is very important, and so is side pressure. It's just something you don't do with a major muscle group. It's a linkage of a series of tendons that pushes sideways. Pushing sideways isn't like bench pressing or rowing or pull-ups or anything like that. Even though, you know, some of that strength, especially like pull-ups and stuff, it can translate to the arm wrestling table. But it's not the most important part. You know, the most important part is about controlling your opponent. And that's why a lot of these guys with the strongest hands dominate matches. You know, they don't always beat everybody because they're not big enough sometimes, but they can dominate matches by controlling somebody else's power.
Yep.
You know, even, you know, thinking about this man could take me and go, whoo, you know, and toss me through the air, but if his arm's out here and I'm hanging off it, it's very difficult for him to bring that back with just his arm, you know? So my objective is to open him up and get him away from his power. And that's how a lot of these guys are successful. They perfect that, you know, through hand control and tendon strength and things like that. Awesome.
What do you think? One question that just popped in my head. What's one thing that you think should never change, that you think is perfect in the sport, and then what's one thing that you'd like to see change for the better?
Well, I think that the imperfect system they have of reffing is good enough. I mean, I do not think this thing should be scientifically or digitally played
Okay,
out.
yep.
I love the fact that, like football, you can make a bad call, you can miss something. I like that. I don't like bad refs. There's a big difference in what I'm saying. You know, I think it's good to have that imperfect style
Yep.
of.
The slight chance of human error.
Yeah, well, it's not even that. It's just fair. You know, it's just fair, and we all do things. We all make mistakes. We all get, cheesed, and our objective is to not cheese somebody.
Yeah.
So if we get really good at elbow fouling, it's not going to pay off in the long run. You're going to get caught more than you get away with it.
Yep.
If you get away with one, hey, voila, good for you. If you don't, you shouldn't do it. You should learn not to do it, So that I like, anyway. I know it's kind of crazy, but that I like.
I see.
Yeah, the part I don't like is I don't like that there's a mechanism like for tying us together. I love the idea of strap pulling where nobody slips.
Yep.
I don't like the idea that there's an advantage. Make the device fair no matter how it goes on, no matter who. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, you can get an advantage in the setup as an experienced veteran or something. But you can't get an advantage just because, you're the buckle, or just because of the way it's threaded or whatever. It's just not, it doesn't make sense that there be that big of a difference. A guy could dominate the freaking match, slip, and then get pounded in the strap.
Yep.
And that's a shame. That's a shame. I know people who run from the grip so they can get that strap because they don't have a chance if you just hung on.
Yep.
So there's, if the strap's really fair, that'll, lower that occurrence. That'll make those guys kind of learn arm wrestle. I like it when people arm wrestle.
Arm wrestle and try to.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some people think that, like in my heyday, my speed would steal matches, but it wasn't stealing no matches. I was just hitting hard and fast,
smashing them. That's all it is,
And for me, that was my intention. That was the strategy. It's early in a tournament. I love tournaments where they were deep, because at the end of the day, you got an accomplishment. If you got 20, 25 guys, and you're on top of this heap, and you wonder what the hell, man. Come on now.
Yep.
What's going on here? That's awesome. I think that endurance. I like. Endurance days. I don't, I'm willing to, accept the idea that the sport has kind of moved into this one man thing, and this mono super match thing, but there really was something to be said for a deep class of, top rated pullers. Nationals at times were just one great name after the next, all in your class. Or you'd have, you just have these nice deep classes with great names like Toulier and Silvers, and, Chris Chandler was always in there for years, even as a youngster. But I mean, all this stuff was, developmental all the way up till today, and it's grown into more of sort of a, we can have an incredibly meaningful match right here on a Saturday all of a sudden.
Yeah.
As long as we got equipment to do that.
Yeah.
To record it like this and to, be responsible for making sure the world knows who's, we do have some good refs in the team, so depending on who you talk to.
Yeah. Right.
Anybody with a bad experience hates you if you were a ref.
Yep.
Yeah, we got, I love arm wrestling and arm wrestlers, but we do have a bunch of crybabies,
Yeah, there's a few.
big ass crybabies, man.
Yep.
I won't name any names, but you know who you are,
Yep.
Anyway.
So what do you think? You wanted to show these guys around? Show them a little bit?
Yeah, maybe we'll pick something, but we'll take a look. Let's take a look at what we see every week. It's probably bright enough to take a walk with your camera, right?
Yeah, should be good.
We got a lot of this signed and unsigned memorabilia. Gives the team a bunch of inspiration when they're here pulling and training and carrying on. I have some media, you know, we put on some past tournament footage and things like that. We got a pegboard for some aerial stuff. We want to concentrate on some upper body. We'll use the sit-down table, which is pretty sweet. I love my sit-down table. Of course, we've got, you know, the girls, and that's Nick when he was younger.
Yep.
Incriminating things away.
Yeah, right.
Of course, we pick it in. Oh, there's some, you know, I love Popeye. More, you know, more banners and stuff. And I got national and world jackets and winning stuff from the years all across the board, from, you know, Poland and Italy and England and Africa, all around the world. It's very fun, very fun. Good times. Gonna get into some more weights. We got some, you know, little pec deck. This is an arm wrestling specific machine that we'll show you more about a little bit. And some grip stuff. I have several kind of grip machines that, you know, they say, you know, they talk about the grip a lot in arm wrestling, and I agree that it's very important. Up to a point. Up to a point. You could be a grip champion and still not be a great arm wrestler. I think a strong grip is important, but it's not the end all, of course, in this sport. You know, I've amassed, I don't know how many world championships, not over 10, probably under like 9, and 55 or 56 national first place finishes throughout USAA, the AAA, and the USAF, I think it was, yeah.
Awesome.
Whatever they called it, the bigger United
yeah.
States organization at the time. They had the unified nationals at that place, which none of that's being held lately, you know?
Yeah.
I guess next year the IFA will be holding a national in the Dallas area, Irving, Texas. So we might do that.
When is the Dallas one again? When is that?
June.
June?
I'm not sure the date. Little bicep, little cage where you know, do some pull-ups, do a whole lot of, you know, arm wrestling related things, even, you know, sort of back pressure stuff and things. And of course I got a rope, which I'll really get Mr. Stone to climb one of these days. We're gonna do it one hand at a time, but there'll be a time when he's gonna go from
I won't need the stairs anymore.
he'll be coming from down there
He's gonna have to get rid of the stairs.
all the way upstairs. Then I got a lot of crap for cutting a hole in the floor, you know.
Yep.
And I got the cargo net as well that we could always try climbing. That'll go all the way down 20 feet to the bottom floor as well. All right, cool. I got a half table as well. This is just for, you know, anything. If I want to do some arm wrestling specific stuff and I want to lift low, like from the lower pulley, it's great to have a half table. And it should be quite versatile. It'd be great if it was versatile and you could lock it down, I'll tell you, because sometimes you pull so much weight that you and the table all
Go for a little ride.
when you start getting up in that, you know, power stuff, you know.
Yep.
All right.
All right. What do you think? Time for a workout?
Yeah, let's shut that up. You're going?
Yep.
So we thought we'd leave you with a couple of side pressure exercises, a couple of arm wrestling exercises that anybody could do, a beginner could do at his gym or if he's equipped at home and that kind of thing. So arm wrestling a lot of times pushing sideways to get your opponent over to the pin pad or to the side you're going to beat him at.
Yep.
So if you take a regular pec deck and you put some weight on it, now when we're training, the side pressure will go way up in weight. Because you want to try and get up to as much as you can handle, but at first you want to really just kind of worry about form and position. And this one happens to have a couple of different positions, so I can grab higher, and it's pretty similar, in my opinion, to an arm wrestling table. So I can take my arm and I can come outside of my shoulder, and I could thrust with some pressure safely with no resistance or impact like from an opponent, and push all the way through. So I'm going actually past my body, So that's giving me a full range of side pressure and making my brachialis, which is the outside of the humerus bone, very active. Very active. In fact, it doesn't usually like it. And that's where people end up with rookie pain and the kind of pain that actually gives you the progress you would need to make in arm wrestling. So this is a good exercise. Like I said, you start out with something like this, you switch over to the left hand, you increase weight, and you keep on going in that way. If you have creativity, you could come up with other ideas for side pressure. And I don't know if you can follow me with that thing, but let me show you.
I can move this sucker.
I'll kind of move quickly because otherwise it might get boring. So here I just took the side angle of an arm wrestling table and I actually put another 25-pound weight over off the corner in sort of a 45-degree. And if I pull on this, I get a whole lot of straight side pressure. So I push across, because that's all I'm working right now is side pressure. If you notice I'm not getting pulled out, that's a whole other type of exercise. We'll talk about that in a future episode, but this one right here, straight side pressure. Kind of like Bill Sinks,
Now, when people do these, where should they put their wrist? Like, how should their wrist be, and where should their elbow be?
Well, you want to be able to complete the repetition, but you're really working side pressure. So if you can keep your hand as flat as it can be, and not use your wrists, your flexors, and all your forearm, because that'll take away the responsibility for your side pressure. So when I do this exercise, just because it's side pressure, I try not to incorporate a whole bunch of my other muscle groups, like my lower forearm, my wrist, and hand. I try to keep my hand and wrist flat and push across flat. It's more of a real lateral kind of motion. That's because it's so specific for me. It's really when I feel like I'm lacking in that kind of side pressure. And then, of course, you could use something like a cable machine, or I have a pulley from the ceiling over here that gives me a little bit of a different angle. If I put you take the arm wrestling table out of the dining room and bring it into the weight room, then you could always do a little side pressure from a pulley. Again, I'm doing this straight wristed, as flat-handed as I can handle, and coming across. This you could actually arm wrestle and do some wrist work and hand work and shoulder work. But for this specific application, I'm just coming straight across. All right. Well, there's a couple side pressure exercises.
All right.
See you next week.
Yeah,
Bye, Chris.
Thanks very much.